Issue 261. We start out with Sonic and Tails seeing that Johnny's statue is finally repaired, and Sonic somehow believes that it wouldn't have taken this long if he was the main hero, Mobius. Tails says they've had cash flow problems, and heartwarmingly, Sonic says, "Take it easy, buddy, it's fine." Sonic jokes wondering what Johnny would have said if he knew they built a statue in his honor. And then they see some blue energy, with Tails saying that energy looks sort of familiar. Sonic is surprised that Tails can recognize energy. And then we see a panel where Johnny tells the Sonic that they should have a plan instead of barging in this way. And the Sonic gets confused and says that Kintobor's messed up big time. The two Sonics meet each other as they think about how one of the Sonics would react to learning about the smear campaign. Not to mention how Johnny would. Sonic says that if this is time travel, this is the future because he doesn't ever remember meeting himself like this. And the Sonic asks how he ends up with green eyes, even though it clearly looks like he has green eyes to me. Johnny says that he can't wait to tell Amy about two Sonics after he rescues her. And Sonic says it's great to see Johnny again. Then Tails insists that he can't tell him anything. Johnny sees a statue of himself and Tails lies to him, as Johnny doesn't really react to the statue all that well. Like it's not that much of a big payoff to Sonic wondering what Johnny would have thought of the statue because it's very underwhelming. But seriously, Tails lies to him. Why are you trying to waste a perfectly good plot? One of the Sonics points out that it really is a statue of Johnny and asks where his statue is, saying, "I figure it's bigger, better, right? Probably with floodlights and stuff." Oh, the tragic irony. I don't know whether to feel sorry for him or be satisfied that the egomaniac doesn't entirely get that. This has got to be a different dimension Sonic Johnny, or else the present Sonic would have remembered meeting his future self like this. The other Sonic asks how he turned into such a wuss, because I don't know why you would assume that. And he jokes that Johnny's plaque probably says, "Johnny Lightfoot, professional sidekick." It's nice to see Sonic confronted with the fact that, yeah, he is a douche. It's consequences. It kind of shows a bit of character development in him since SEC Online started. Especially with them saying earlier that they all grew up a little, and he's kind of nicer to Tails now. Sonic naturally gets angry, raising a fist to him, and says, "You creep! Johnny was more of a hero than you'll ever be!" Johnny can just make out his name on the plaque because he somehow still hasn't read it properly the minute he saw his statue. And right now I'm reminded of when I saw Bugs Bunny read out literally everything on the eye doctor's page. Rabbits are supposed to have great vision. Tails says they need some kind of distraction, and the two Sonics start fighting. You'd think if Sonic had such an ego he'd like himself. Sonic wonders if he's not as fast as he used to be, and Tails arbitrarily says that his own Sonic is older and wiser. I mean, it's not very clear about that, like he still does insult Tails. Sonic's asked what he did to the other Sonic, and he says that he wasn't looking where he was going and crashed into Johnny's statue. Sonic admits that he nudged him a little, calling him a jerk, and Tails smiles and says, "But Sonic, the jerk is you." Sonic says, "Look, I don't want to talk about it, alright?" And wipe that stupid grin off your face. I love that. Like, especially that first sentence. Tails really is growing up. His resentment for his abusive brother figure is starting to show through, like, passive-aggressive insults. At least Sonic's generally being nicer to him. Like, he's moved on from abusive to simply a vitriolic best bud. I guess he realized how much he needs him since he's all he's got left now. So the worst he does is call him Pixel Brain. Meanwhile, Johnny discovers the plaque dedicated to him, and the portal shows up with Kintobor saying through it that Sonic and Johnny have to come through it fast. Johnny tells Sonic that whatever happens in his future, it's all okay, you know? No matter what happens, it's my responsibility. I'm doing what I want to do. That's oddly mature and brave of him. So it doesn't create a paradox because he's gonna be a hero regardless. Then the other Sonic pulls him into the portal, telling him to promise never to mention this again, saying that losing to the future Sonic has been totally embarrassing. Again, he looks like a bully here, which is especially harsh in hindsight. Then Tails says, "Wasn't this where Johnny was standing before? Do you think?" And the story ends with Sonic deciding to get Johnny an even bigger statue next time. In the next story, in Metropolis Zone, We see a bartender somehow not knowing Tails' name even though he's not only a freedom fighter, but also the main hero Mobius now. Oh, it's Big the Cat. That still doesn't excuse it. Big holds a rotten sandwich of his that's been gone for months, and he doesn't get that it's rotten just by looking at it and smelling it. That's forced. Then he tells Tails that he found his parcel as Tails looks annoyed and leaves with it. Tails then sees a bunch of badniks, and as he's fighting them, Rouge steals his parcel. Then Amy shows up and tells Tails he can go after Rouge. Rouge doesn't even know what's in the parcel, but assumes that if Tails wanted it, her employers might be interested in taking a look. Now I'm assuming it's something really mundane for a plot twist. Mighty punches her satisfyingly, and Charmy catches it. The Chaotix gang up on Rouge, he throws a smoke bomb, which SBO creates a tornado to get rid of. Rouge arbitrarily calls it cheating because she's a spoiled brat, and Tails shows up thanking his friends. Vector says that a certain elephant is dying to see her, and then Knuckles and the Chaotix see a bunch of pink energy in front of them, because a mad contraption has activated, with Porker complaining that it's impossible because the transportation coordinates are set for negative space. A pink goop monster with a bunch of menacing eyes shows up, letting Rouge fly away as the distraction for her, as I'm getting the weirdest feeling that maybe the pink goop is made up of Special Zone people fused together. Later, after the monster was finished off, Tails hopes he can finish delivering the package, only to see a monster covered in toxic gas. A random supervillain like that reminds me of the Special Zone. Tails doesn't take him seriously because he acts so cliche and over the top, and he sends a fire hydrant at it to defeat it, earning people's respect as he flies away. He makes it to Emerald Hill with seconds to spare, and Tails is dragged into the Nameless Zone, dropping off the parcel, saying it'll probably be safer here anyway. Much later, we oddly skip past seeing Tails' adventure in the Nameless Zone, and Sonic asks Tails tonight, "Is your watch broken or something, Pixel Brain? You're supposed to be here ages ago. I had to beat 2 world-conquering robots today and I was still on time." Tails says he wouldn't believe the day he had, apologizing, and Sonic says, "Save it for someone to be impressed, Pipsqueak." However, the story ends kinda heartwarmingly, as Tails dropped off a birthday cake for Sonic, which was the parcel all along. Wait, the parcel was clearly in Emerald Hill Zone the whole time. So why did he take so long to get it? Sonic was even holding it. Why did he decide not to open it until after Tails got to him? Like, if he decided not to open it till now to humor Tails, then why is he complaining? Like, it's his decision to not open it till now. Also, I wonder if anyone questioned the fact that Tails clearly ordered a birthday cake for Sonic at this point. In the next story, we see the floating island 8,000 years ago, and while some Dracons are fighting echidnas and guard robots, suddenly Chaos feels weak because Tikal's father used the power of the Emerald to send Sonic back, draining his power. We already saw this. He tells Knuckles to bring in the prototype, and sadly we immediately cut away to the present, where we see Emerald, who says he's emulating Chaos in front of Knuckles. We know this too. Well, of course, Emerald was used to help seal Chaos. And Porker gathers that when it copied Chaos, it began to see everyone as a threat. As Knuckles points out that even Chaos' fear effect was copied, I immediately wondered if the reason Emerald is seeing everyone as a threat is because copying Chaos put him in a permanent state of fear in the first place. Emerald says that Knuckles is as determined as the Gizoid, and even looks similar to him as well. Then Emerald brings up a data file saying Gizoid, ancient echidna term for the guardian of the Chaos Emeralds, and champion of the echidnas. Well, that's a plot twist, where the word Gizoid was used incorrectly for the sake of surprising us. Knuckles was destroyed by Emerald in a past life, which is why his skeleton is here, and he sacrificed his life to seal Emerald away. Wait, then why was Emerald activated the minute Knuckles showed up? Knuckles tells Emerald that he's the same person he defeated, and Emerald starts sparking and exploding from being confused. That is one poorly programmed robot. Porker says that Emerald's absorbed 8,000 years of data, which is actually a better explanation for him being like this than being confused. He's overloading. So this gives Knuckles a chance to defeat him. After a good moment where Knuckles actually buried the skeleton and gave it a tombstone, Porker apologizes and says the island's database is too encrypted for him to access it. And Knuckles ends the story saying that after that, he thinks some secrets should stay that way. Why would the database be encrypted though? Like, isn't the island totally isolated? Like what enemies would the ancient echidnas have to want to encrypt their data? It's just a pathetic excuse to not let Porker and Knuckles know about the ancient past. The first story was... Wait, Nigel Kitching? Huh? This is the same writer who wrote the original comic issues. I do remember that one of the staff of the original comic approved of this comic continuation, so I guess that's him? Whoa. Imagine if this happened in Archie Sonic Online. Anyways, the first story had Johnny and Sonic randomly show up in the present day through a time portal that apparently Kintobar was able to make no problem. It'd make more sense if it was Omni doing it. If them showing up makes no sense, makes the whole plot fall apart. But I guess it was worth the great character moments that resulted. Sonic gets faced firsthand with what a jerk he used to be, and gets into a fight with himself for insulting Johnny. Tails is the cautious one, worried about Johnny learning what happens in the future. And Johnny shows how mature and brave he really is, because despite knowing he'll die early, he says he'll keep on fighting like normal because he enjoys it. Still, Johnny showing up was really arbitrary because it wasn't the time-traveling Omnivore who did it. You'd think they'd explain the entire premise of the story. The second and third stories are by McDonald, and has Tails trying to deliver a parcel, and he constantly gets sidetracked by badniks and some weird monsters with no real explanation to them. Including a monster that reminds me of when everyone was fused together to a horrible blob in SpongeBob. And he even gets pulled into the Nameless Zone without us seeing the result of it. Again! I hate it anytime we get cheated out of a story with Tails, like when he was supposedly in the special zone and we never see a story about that. And then it's revealed that he was delivering a birthday cake for Sonic, which is sweet at this point, though I really have to question how Tails could get a cake made for someone whose reputation is in the trash without any problem. And the third story is about Emerald, who sealed Chaos and went berserk from copying it for no reason, getting defeated because he overloaded from learning that Knuckles is still alive after he defeated his past self, and then downloading 8,000 years worth of data, which was a creative way for him to be dealt with.